Hi. Hey friends, Power Guy Rob Phoenix here. Hope you're all doing well. I kind of want to talk about the origin of God. Yeah, that sounds very heavy. But yeah, excuse me, as Christians, we believe that God was the creator of the universe and creator of the planets and all this stuff. But really, we can't look at the Bible as um, an historical record. We have to look at the Bible as kind of a mythology in a way, because God, as we know him in Christian tradition, actually comes from like his origins were found in the ancient Canaanites, which predated the Israelites, which the Canaanites were uh, a tribal culture, the Middle East, and they separated into a number of different tribes. They had a creator god named El, E-L, and that was the god who created the universe and created all the different gods and such, goddesses. And they were broken up into various tribes. The Israelites, Canaanites slash Israelites were broken up into, some say 77, some say 80 some say less than that. It's hard to say, but they were broken up into these various tribes, and they all had their own gods or goddesses. And one of those tribes had the god known as um, Yahweh or Yehovah or Jehovah, however you pronounce it. Um, Yahweh is how I would pronounce it. And he was not the father god. He was like a son of the god. And he was like a god of storms and war and such with. Well, at one point, that tribe of Yehovah or Yahweh kind of overran all the other tribes and became the most dominant. And so they blended their god, Yehovah or Yahweh, with El, and the mythology kind of changed. And that became the father god, the creator of the universe and the earth. Um, and so that's where like God, as us Christians know him, comes from. We have to recognize that that God is like our version of God is not it doesn't predate everything else. Like it comes from something. It comes from the Canaanite mythology. Um, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Like there's nothing wrong with believing that and understanding that. Like we are worshiping a God that's very ancient. Um, and there it is. Well, the Bible actually speaks to that. The Bible actually speaks to a point where uh, Yahweh, Yahweh, Jehovah, however you pronounce it, actually has a council with all the other gods that were his brothers and sisters and says, well, why are you supporting wicked people? You're supposed to be helping the poor, supposed to be helping the weak, supposed to be helping the sick. So you are lesser, and I denounce you. And that we find in Psalm 82. So Psalm 82, God presides in the great assembly. He gives judgment among the gods. And he says, how long will you defend the unjust and show partiality to the wicked? He questions them, and he's kind of showing his dominance here. He's saying, like, what's wrong with you? You're showing partiality to the wicked. And then he says to them, defend the cause of the weak and fatherless, maintain the rights of the poor and the oppressed, rescue the weak and the needy, deliver them from the hand of the wicked. And he's angry because they're supporting the evildoer and such. And he says they know nothing, they understand nothing. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. And he says, you are gods. You are all sons of the Most High, but you will die like mere men. You will fall like every other ruler because of what they're doing. Like they are not embracing their divinity. They are supporting wickedness and sin and like all this stuff. So uh Yehovah, Yahweh Bohe, Jehovah, he sees no choice but to become the commanding God. And he takes over and he denounces all of them. And so that's where God of the Bible comes from. He sets himself above the others. And that's why the Bible does not disbelieve in other gods. It literally says, "Thou shalt have no other god before me," um, because he recognized that they were all wicked, that they had all like given into sin and like chaos and all this stuff, and they weren't caring for the poor, they weren't healing the sick, they weren't, tending to the actual needs of people. And so one of the commandments is, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." This is Yahweh Bohe saying, I have to set myself above this. Um, and when, over the centuries, people didn't, really believe, he actually like impregnated a human being and sent his son to be born on earth and walk amongst us humans. So yeah, God of the Bible was not the first God. He came from the Canaanite mythos and those gods and goddesses, but he was the superior one. He recognized that his superiority, he exerted his dominance, overcame all of them, and then made a commandment that you can't, no other god should be put before me. So, um, as a Christian, I'm cool with that. I like that. I like that there's an origin for God. I know a lot of Christians are very much like scandalized by that, but calm down. It just is what it is. I mean, history is what it is. The history of humanity is much older than the history of gods. So, uh, I'm comfortable knowing the truth of it. I have more of an appreciation for God, understanding the truth. It does not take away, it does not detract from the Holy Trinity. It does not lessen the power um, of God. It actually, I don't know, it kind of gives me some perspective on it and shows like his dominance is, he won his dominance fair and square. And he is the more powerful of that, that lineage. He became the most high. So anyway, history of God's interesting. Um, And I urge you all, like, as Christians, to take a critical look at it. Like, just Google it, like the history of God, and you'll find it. He comes straight out of Canaanite, well, yeah, mythology, but religious belief, um, culture, very interesting stuff. So, anyway, just kind of wanted to put that out there. God bless you guys. Love you, and we'll talk soon.